Hi guys, this is Allison from Allylat Creations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you get anything from my work, a connected dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, new book to read, new authors to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are in the bottom of the description, and this computer is still making my life a living misery with this damn camera. If you're interested in pyramids or anything art related, Christmas is coming. Please check out my website, Allylatcreations211.com. I put some more pictures up there. Scope them out. Support small businesses. And I'll be right back because I got to fix this again. I can't fix this damn thing. Fun times. Sorry, guys. Anywho, so much things I have to work on. I'm probably going to take a few days off. I'm getting very frustrated with this computer. But I'm not going to ruin a good time. The message of Aquaria. The 3 Johns. This should be interesting. Quote, and in those days there came John the Baptist, and Herod sent and beheaded John in prison. Now there was a learning on Jesus' bosom, one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bared record of the word of God and all the things that he saw. And quote, Matthew. And then it's also Revelations. Goes on. I'm sorry about my camera, guys. I don't know what to do. I just tried something else. In previous chapters, we have learned that the sign Aquarius in its mystical significance symbolizes man, not undeveloped or animal man, but the spiritual, awakened, intellectual man symbolized in the Bible under the name John. But we find that there were 3 Johns: John the Baptist, John the Beloved, and John the Revelator. These 3 Johns have the same symbology as the 3 decans of Aquarius, all synthesized in Jesus, the perfect man. Considering the 3 Johns together were therefore have a composite picture of man as he unfolds and manifests his 3 decants, or the 3 stages of unfoldment into his highest attainment as the real man. The 3 Johns also represent the 3 offices which the Aquarian man must hold or manifest in the course of his spiritual unfoldment: prophet, priest, and king, or man, claiming the 3-fold powers of his sonship. For it is only the manifestation of the Son in man that can truly make him either prophet, priest, or king. The mere predicting of coming events through use of clairvoyance, prevoyance, or other psychic faculties does not constitute a prophet, for a prophet is, quote, one who speaks for God, end quote, or interprets the will of the divine man, and prediction plays but a small part in his life and work. The mere graduating from a theological school and being ordained cannot make a man a true priest, unless in addition he has unfolded the Christ within his heart and his intellect has been so illumined that he can stand before the altar and sacrifice his lower nature to the divine. In many instances, the wearing of an earthly crown is but a parody on true kingship. For the crown which marks the real king is the radiance of his purified aura and the emanations of his illumined intellect, which enable him to rule with justice. Such a crown each of the 3 Johns wears, yet the crown of each differs from that of others according to the kingdom over which he rules. In the Bible, there are also 3 great elevations or mountains which correspond to that which is meant by the 3 Johns. The first, which agrees with John the Baptist, is Mount Sinai in the wilderness, the mountain from which the law is given amidst lightnings and thunders, so that the people are overawed. From this wonderful mount comes their law, their instruction, and their call to repentance. The second mount corresponds to John the Beloved. This is the mount of divine love from which Jesus gave the message of blessedness. Quote, blessed are the peacemakers, end quote. This sermon is very mild. If we heard it today, we would be inclined to say it was negative, but the other side of the mount is Calvary, the mount of crucifixion. Divine love gives out its message from a height so great that it is always misunderstood and the giver crucified. Truth. The third is the Mount of Transfiguration. Here stands Moses, the lawgiver, on the 1st John, and Elias, the blessed John, both coming with the 3rd John, who lost his identity in Jesus. For the revelator, sorry guys, that does not project out of my mouth, and I'm about to lose my teeth and call it a night. Does not speak his own words, but those given him from on high. And as the world passes through the sign Aquarius, there must be a blending of these 3 phases. The first decant of Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn, is symbolized by John the Baptist, the man clothed in the skins of the wild animals and wanderings in the wilderness. Yet this is not primitive man, but man crowned with high intellectual attainments, because his awakened intellect has recognized the superior power of the Christ consciousness, the one who is mightier than I, the latchet of whose shoes I am not worthy to stoop and unloosen. He becomes a prophet crying, prepare ye the way of the Lord, law, make his path straight. The number 11, the number of the sign Aquarius, signifies the beginning of a new and a higher cycle. And the Kabbalistic value of the name John is 9, the number of soul initiation. Hence we see that as the first decant of the sign begins to manifest, man will have an intellectual awakening which will initiate him into a new and higher world, a consciousness which transcends the outer, the visible, and the merely intellectual, and shall usher him into the world of the spiritual realization. We're here, and there are 3 decants. We may expect intellectual man to pass through 3 distinct phases, all of them but steps in the unfoldment of the 5th principle, manas, in man, that which gives him supremacy. Manas is commonly divided into higher manas and lower manas. Higher, which join to the soul Buddha principle, and called Buddhai manas, and lower when joined to desire karma and called karma manas. But it also has a third and a distinct expression within it, is neither the one nor the other, but facilitates between the 2. The 2 lower must be mastered and transcended, or man can become the true Aquarian. So when they're talking about the decans, so like your birth chart, right? So like I'm an Aries sun. So I was born in April. So I'm in Aries. And there's 3. So like from the first part of the month to maybe the little tiny bit in is your first decant. Then you have the middle of then you have your second, which is all in degrees, right? So it's like the middle of Aries, and then you have the end where that's where I would fall because I was born on the 16th. And the turning to Taurus is on the 20th. 21st, everybody, you know, depending where you live. So those signs, so you fall in, no matter where you are on your chart, you fall into certain degrees. And in each sign, so here's Aquarius, there are 3 in between all of Aquarius. And that's what they're talking about. I'm sorry, I'm not an astrologer. I should be. It'd keep my mind busy. The first stage in this mastery through which all must pass is the John the Baptist stage. This is a stage when all man's intellect has awakened to the fact that there is something greater to be obtained. He is still wandering in the wilderness of the outer life, outside of yourself, seeking to prepare the way through a study of philosophy and laws of the higher life for the coming of the greater consciousness, the Christ consciousness in his heart. At this point, he's exceedingly solicit. I'm not fighting myself today, guys, and I'm like beyond done with myself because I can't get words out today. Apparently, I can't do much today. I hope like that you could see that others should awaken to the higher conceptions which have so enthused him. Hence he is continually crying, repent ye, and striving to have anyone who will listen follow him. He lays great stress upon outer conditions and observances. He is enclosed, the simplest form of attire, and his physical body and its care and subjugation occupy a very prominent place in his life. He lays great stress upon the simplicity of his raiment and upon what he eats, drinks. This is well, for at this stage, the mastery of pride, of appearance, and control of appetite are important steps. But he is confronted on every hand by many and diverse paths or teachings, all seemingly pointing to the goal, yet leading in different directions. And since the seeker during this stage is still depending upon his intellect to guide him, he feels that he must investigate all movements and teachings in an effort to find the true inner path, which shall lead him to the Christ. At this stage, it is right that he should do so, and without being thought facilitating and insincere. Jesus plainly showed what attitude of mind we should hold toward this stage of development when he replied to his disciples as they tried to rouse his condemnation from one who was unsettled. What went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? Facilitating or weak-minded person? Then he continued, but what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yeah, I say unto you, more than a prophet. We should take this to heart, and when we see sincere persons running here and there, seeking intellectually to make a straight path through the many devious teachings, we're here now, guys, we should not think of them as reeds shaken by every wind of doctrine that springs up, for they are actively in proclaiming and seeking the Christ is a prophecy and a forerunner of that which they shall obtain, that other John, the beloved of the Christ, into which they will evolve. For someday they will step into the Jordan, see the dove descend, and hear the voice proclaiming that the Christ, the only begotten Son, has been found. The law is, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be open unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. The seeking attitude of mind is the turning point, the turning from the old, the outer, to the new, the inner. For there must be the intellectual conception before there can be the perception. Ding, 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 ding. This stage corresponds with the first second of Aquarius and is ruled by Saturn, who must test and judge and make stable all things so that the rulership of Mercury can begin. And the majority of the people, I was talking about it in my video yesterday, this is where you are, which is great. First steps, guys. Again, I'm not here to judge you. Know where you are, because that helps everybody, just helps you learn what stage you're at. And there's no competition. No one's going to get anywhere. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't a race. This isn't a competition to find the Lord and God within yourself. It's not a race. You got to do this on your own time, but just know where you are so you know what you will be obtaining as you do the work. And it's amazing. When this step in the unfoldment has been taken and John the Baptist has recognized and baptized the Christ, his intellectual supremacy and dominion must wane while the Christ consciousness waxes. As it is said, he must increase, but I must decrease. Then the seeker enters into the second stage, symbolized by John the Beloved. In this stage, he is not only found and recognized the Christ, but sits at meat with him and rests on his bosom. At this stage, he is little concerned with either remnant or food, for his master, or whose bosom he rests, can both eat meat and drink wine. No longer does he extort the multitudes to repent, but rests quietly in the great love of the Christ and waits patiently for his work for humanity to be given to him. Many of us are here right now as well. Yet he helps the world greatly by his love and example. No longer does he eagerly run to and fro after the latest popular teacher or investigate the latest psychic phenomena, for he has found his spiritual home, where he finds the Christ and sits at meat with his disciples. This phrase, sits at meat, may puzzle some, especially used as it here is connection with the spiritual home, which each soul will someday find, but it is correct to use it for the Christ here, spoken of the universal cosmic sun, life, principle, which is the spiritual life of and must feed each and every soul. It refers to the mystical food of which Jesus spake when he said, quote, I have meat to eat that ye know not of, end quote. The spiritual meat, this feeding in the heart or real assimilation of spiritual truth, can only be fully accomplished when the pupil sits down at the table, which is spread by the teachings which satisfy most completely his intellect and feed most satisfyingly his heart hunger, and thus promote his spiritual growth, even as well as assimilate physical food, will promote the harmonious growth of body and mind in proportion to the nourishing's power and the pleasure and contentment its eating brings. As with physical food, so with spiritual. Not only must the food be wholesome in itself, but it must be prepared and presented in a way that will appeal to the taste and satisfy the appetite. Similarly, the spiritual food for each must be presented in the various ways that will appeal to each. The old adage, God sent food, but the devil sent cooks, has its application here. For while all spiritual food comes from on high, yet unenlightened man in his own limited intellectual conceptions often distorts or disguises the truth until it is like badly cooked food, acceptable only to an undeveloped, unsensitive, or perverted palate. Hence, intellectual development, study, and discrimination can and are necessary before one is fitted to prepare spiritual food. For as in the miracle of the loaves and fishes, it is always that the Christ who blesses and breaks the bread and gives it to his disciples, who in turn transmit it to multitude. Therefore, each should seek until he finds a table spread, whose spiritual food is appetizing to him, nourishing and easily assimilated by him. And once having found it, he can rest on the bosom of the Christ and give all his allegiance and love devoted to the avenue through which he is fed, as he gladly pours forth all the worldly help which the great law enables him to give. Such an avenue of teaching is his soul's resting place, a spiritual home in very truth, and its welfare and growth enabling it to extend its food to many other hungry hearts is his dearest wish, something to be held even in mind, to be prayed for, to be worked for, and to be sacrificed for. Thus it is found with those who are at this stage are brought by the great law into the touch, the order of the Christian mystics, after having searched in the wilderness among all other teachings. Those who truly belong to it, whose enlightened intellect and quickened heart have enabled them to really to grasp its teachings and to correlate with the great currents of force back of them, are content to rest in it. For in it they have found and recognized the manifestation of Christ and know it to be their spiritual home. Hence feel no inclination to seek elsewhere. But there are many others who come to these teachings, as they do many others, seeking for just the expression of spiritual truth and currents of force to which their stage of unfoldment will enable them to respond. These may stay with us shorter or longer time, and they find their home elsewhere. Many on the other band, after going forth again into intellectual wilderness, return and find rest and satisfaction. But all are welcomed as honored guests, and such as do not become children of the household are cheered on their way when they depart with a blessing and hearty Godspeed, and a sincere hope that they may soon find the Christ manifesting in some other spiritual home, so that they may rest on his bosom and go no more out. The second John does not make a great stir in the world. He is not a great teacher or preacher. He does not go out and cry unto the people so they flock to him in great numbers out of curiosity, either as to this his particular manner of life and dress, or as to his teachings. He simply rests on the bosom of Christ and solves the problems of life through the mystic power of Christ, which he finds in his heart. He blesses the world silently, and hence it often misunderstood and persecuted, for the world cannot understand or accept him. Yet his own heart is always cheered because he is resting in the absolute knowledge that he has found the Christ and has imbibed the force of the heart while resting on his bosom. This is the end, we might say, of the second John, the end of the second decan of Aquarius, which is ruled by Mercury, the great intellectual planet, yet the one which is so variable and so little understood by the world. Truth. But there comes a day in the life of every true disciple when, after the dominance of the intellect has given way to the illumination of the intuition through the power of the Christ, with whom he has dwelt in so intimate a relationship, he feels impelled to call upon the intellect, which has now been illumined by the divine light, and use it to reveal to man that which is to be. He has heard the voice cry from out the silence, "It is not well thou hast reaped. Now thou must sow." This is the third and last John, the revelator. The last decan of Aquarius is ruled by Venus, or the power of divine love. Through his realization of divine love, John has gained another crown. He has learned to love the world of humanity and labor for it. Through the persecutions he has passed, he has penetrated into the very heart of life, and has seen the possibilities and needs of mankind. Having entered into the oneness and drawn down the glory of the Shekhinah, he is crowned with glory unspeakable. The intellectual brilliancy of 1 John and the heart warmth of the 2nd are swallowed up in the spiritual radiance of the 3rd John, in which all are melted, blended together, and sublime. But this cannot be expressed in words. It must be realized. Bingo. For to John the Revelator, all worlds are one, and as he lives therein, he becomes the revelator of the divine to man. He has not only entered into the spirit of the Lord's day, but he has heard the voice and has turned and glimpsed the glory of the Ancient of Days. He has heard the thunders of the 7 churches and has held in his right hand the powers of the Christ. The mount upon which he stands is the Mount of Transfiguration. He is still man, but he has become more than a man, a true Aquarian. Before I move on to the other chapter, we're all going through these stages individually right now. And again, doesn't matter, it's not a competition. Just realize where you are. Because when you understand those words that I just read, many of us, again, are in a building of positive polarity trying to find the Christ within. Some of us are on the 1st floor and some of us are on the top floor. Regardless, the building is not going anywhere. And we all need each other because collectively, we change the outside world collectively. And we want to know why things aren't coming out, why things aren't happening the way we expect them to, or because something on a military ops site told you so. I'm not discrediting them at all. Please don't think I am. But that's outer exterior things that you could use, like the 1st John. You're still looking on the outside for the answers. You're looking at everybody and expecting everybody to give you the answers to the things that you should go looking inside your heart for first. What I've been saying, again, I did not read this book, I'm reading it with you, is everything I've been encompassing and saying in the Spiritual Soul Talks and in other books that I read. I am not here to expend my energy to lie. I'm just telling you what I get from upstairs. My higher self is with source, so is all yours. I'm not special. I'm not here to make myself special. Okay, that's number 1. 2, all the things that I've been telling you to do is ways outside of the religious paradigm to find the Christ within. Okay, a lot of people don't equate the Bible because a lot of people don't follow the Bible. Everybody's in a different path. Everybody has a different religion. Everybody has a different mode of operandi when it comes to finding what goes on within. I'm just giving you examples of what I used to get and to understand what I am in totality. I've traversed a lot of stuff because I'm done with the division. I'm done hearing it. I'm going within and finding the God within, the Christ within. I'm activating my codes. I'm doing my ascension mechanics. I am doing the work. Are you? I'm not saying you have to be at my level, but are you starting? Because I wouldn't see what I'm seeing and playing out in the world if we all got on the horse and started riding. Okay. We all have to make a conscious effort each and every day, regardless of what's going on in your life. And trust me, mine is chaotic. But I'm at peace within. You know, not every day you're going to wake up and things are going to be roses and smell so pretty and everything's going to be wonderful. And not because you're not thinking love and light and trying to project good things. You're in a purging stage right now. I'm purging a lot. So it's reflecting in my attitude. It's reflecting in the way I'm feeling, but it needs to get out of me. So I'm allowing it to happen. I'm giving myself compassion to allow the things that are really irritating me to just like come out and express itself. You know, again, I can't control the camera. I don't know what settings to use. I've been looking and trying to figure out why all of a sudden it changed in the first place besides gremlins. Okay, and I've been doing my sage. This stuff happens, and I got it to where I'm not here, far away, where I like it. But that's just one example, guys. There are certain things that we do not control that are outside of our paradigm. It's the reaction that you have within yourself that you have to change. And yes, in the moment when you feel it to win a chicken dinner, like you saw me earlier at the beginning of the video, I was really upset. Right? I have a lot going on. A lot of personal, private things that are trying to test me. The universe is testing me right now. And I get it. I really do. I understand the tests that are being thrown at me. It's how I maneuver around them and deal with them emotionally. So we're all at these stages, guys. I'm no different. I'm not a martyr. I'm not here to have martyrdom. I'm just like all of you. I have more of an awareness than most. And I'm hoping to impart the wisdom that I have within me, the walking and going through the experience with you. It's only trying to save you some hell. Again, Satan is of God's paradigm. We wrote this story with God. We created all of this with God. All of it. So you got to have the conscious choice each and every day to pick what John you are at and strive to get to that last John. And not many people are in that last stage just yet. And guys, it's a forever battle. But the effort that you put in each day, you're going to reach that attainment. You're making the effort where a lot of people are not. You're going to be the game changer in making this world a better place, increasing the density around you so that you can ascend. And you will ascend. Everybody's going to ascend on their own time frame. Right? And others will not ascend. It's not their time yet. But that doesn't mean you don't give them any more or less grace and compassion, because that's the lessons that we need to learn. We have to give compassion, not just to some, to everybody that has a breath, that breathes. They signed up for some horrible experience that God wanted them to experience. Who are we to judge those things? Why persecute them? If there is so many people that I know that are super into the Bible and hold it on to dear life, I don't believe you. And the reason why I'm saying that is because many of you are not walking the path of God. You're sitting in judgment. You're sitting and dictating to other people how to feel. well, this one is fake, that one's real, this one's this, that one's that, this document said this. Who wrote the documents? Who's uploading this stuff? And guess what, guys? The white hats, I'm not a fan of them. You know why? Because there are things in our founding documents that state that they should have held, okay, I don't care if it's a military operation. You're supposed to keep us safe and aware. We pay you for that, and we're not aware. You're playing the game just as much as they are. And you know who's caught in the middle? All of us. You want to wake us up? Great. Get it. But for how much longer is the lying on both sides going to continue? Because they are lying to you. They're making and misdirecting you to make you think that certain things are going to happen. Instead of living your life, you're waiting for things to happen. Instead of going out and every day and feeling and expressing the love that you have in your heart, you're fearful that your bank account won't work because all these things are telling you the banks are closing. This is happening. Oh, the debt clock. Let's go there. Okay, it's great. Right? But don't let it consume your life. It's nothing to be idolatrizing over. It's not. We got to really understand that a huge, large portion of humanity has no idea about the information you do. They're not just going to turn a switch and the rest of the 90% of the population in just the United States alone have no stinking clue what is really going on. That's a problem, right? We might be awake and aware, but if a half of the entire populace of just the United States, I'm not talking about any other country right now, but you can equate that to your country. They might not be aware of the intricacies that are going on and what's been wrong. People know something's wrong. You can't, unless you're an NPC or somebody who is for another steered agenda, there are too many people that have no clue. They're living their lives. And you got to give that respect. Oh, they're not waking up because they're not supposed to right now. It's not their time. But even in that regard, what you want manifested isn't going to happen until you do the work inside of yourself. And enough of us go and do the work within inside ourselves and stop dividing the world into categories, into people, places, and things that, yes, these people are bad and these people are good and these people are bad and these people are good. Okay, that doesn't solve anybody's problems. Well, we got to throw them and do stuff to them. Okay, great. Let God source take care of that. See, I'm getting a thumbs up from whatever is doing that. I was in those spots too. So don't think I'm here criticizing people and picking on anybody. I was there. I know. I was feel it. I was in it to win it. I understood it. I was doing so much. And then one day my paradigm changed and I went within and did some work, and I had my own poles flipped. And I see a world in a deeper way. I see humanity differently. It's like overnight. And it's not that I didn't see it that way. I didn't feel it. And now I'm feeling it. I'm really in it. I understand it. I comprehend it. I have the knowing of it. And I hope others get there. We need to transform things. And those of us who are awake and are aware of the totality of the wrongness that's been going on here, we know it. So what are the things that we can do to transcend it? Because as soon as we let go of some dense matter that needs to be out of our way, so we can lift ourselves up into a higher frequency and start seeing the playing field even wider and more clearer, and see the moves being played out and how to navigate around those moves so that we can continue to enjoy and invest each and every day to the God within ourselves, to the source that we know we are, to the divinity that we are. But you have to feel it, you have to embody it, and you have to embrace it. And if you don't have those things, keep working. You're going to get there. Be very interesting. Actually, I'm going to end it here for the book. Only because the next chapter is long and then it's continued. So I'll probably do all of that next time, so that we keep on focus and point. This is a crazy, immense book. And again, it's just been, things, when you get tangible evidence, this like books, for me at least, is tangible evidence to say that what I've been saying is a reflection of what other people have been saying. And these people have been saying it way longer than me, just differently and expressing it differently, but it's very much the same concept. Sorry guys, I have a package. So what's playing out into the ether right now is still this big purge. So the trauma, the karma, the icky things that are been suppressed in you that you forgot about are now surfacing and being projected out, right? It's trying to clear itself. You might not be aware of how you're projecting your emotional states. You might not be aware in the moment that you're hurting other people's feelings, or that oopsie, I should be transcending that. Instead, I'm playing with everybody else in the schoolyard. We're not in high school anymore. And even if you are in high school, just don't give that energy out. All right. But we are supposed to get that energy out right now. We're supposed to purge it. We got to get it out. And now it's all reflecting in and around us. So why do I keep saying protect your energy and shield? Because as you're getting it out of you, you don't want to manifest it. Other people don't have that option, and it's playing out in their worlds right now. And this is also a humongous time for a lot of us to be tested by the universe to make sure we're strong in our convictions, strong with the knowing of what we are. And it's not easy. I'm going through that right now. Before I did this video, I was packaging a lot of pyramids, putting them into boxes ready to go out to the mail. I got hit with some heaviness, extreme heaviness. And I didn't even know how to even absorb what I was being told. These are the things that are going to test us. And instead of the reactionary, you keep your cool. And then when you're in your own time, you kind of absorb what was said or what other people are projecting to you, and see how do you feel about it? What does your heart say about it? I'm going to do a humongous meditation after this video to ask upstairs what the hell. But I'm not trying. I know it's a test. And the knowing within me is like, okay, you're going to have a hell of a time, but you'll get through it. It's going to suck. But I have to walk through harder things than most. And many of you do too. I'm not alone. Make a conscious choice each and every day to feed yourself positivity, to see the beauty in the world, to look out into nature and be one with it. Don't just touch the tree, become the tree. See yourself, see the wood, see the roots, see the life that's going in and outside of the tree. Like the insects are like the parasites that live in us, the fungus, all the bacteria that is doing its thing organically, right? That we have good and bad of everything within us, right? So does the tree. So when you're touching a tree and trying to transmute the energy, make sure you're embodying the tree. It's crazy right now. It's going to continue to be that way. You have conscious efforts to transmute, to ignore, or to just take a step back. Observe, go within, and you'll get your answers. Because right now, people are projecting, not understanding what they're projecting at other people, how they're wording things might be a little off. So take these people and these situationals with grace and compassion and take a step back. Because we're purging. That time's coming to a close within the next few weeks. We're in eclipse, we're in Scorpio, we're transmuting a lot of things. And it's going to look a little ugly on the outside. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this little section of the 3 Johns. This book keeps and continues to blow my mind. It's validated me. Their work alone has validated a lot of the things that I hold in my own paradigm. And it's just really nice to feel that I'm not getting some information from some crazy entity trying to exploit me. It's not the case. I work directly with Source, and so do many of you. I'm a test for most people because of the way I look. And I enjoy it. Around and find out. Can't take the hood out of the New Yorker. So guys, I hope I lightened the mood a little tiny bit with that last statement. I'm not trying to disrespect my New Yorkers. I can't take that out of me. That's just my upbringing. But start with self-love and knowing thyself. Connect your gut, your heart, and your mind. Change your frequency. And again, allow yourself compassion and grace when you're having those bad days or you're not feeling it, right? There are days like I got today. I'm not feeling it today. there's a lot of things that I got thrown at today that I have to transmute. Right. But in the moment, I don't have time to go sit and go outside and hold a tree and, like situational. So I'm holding that space for myself to do my work. Do the same. Expend your energy wisely. Your cup needs to fill to give the lighthouse its strength, so that light can beam as far and wide as it can go. We need to be strong lights. But in order to be that light, you've got to do the work. You have to start somewhere. So listen to all of their books. They're incredible, and they have a lot of great messaging in them. And again, I'm not somebody that has ever read the Bible, but I'm not saying there's things to take away from it, but you can't take it literally. There's a lot of inversion going on. There's a lot of things they exited out of it because they can't know that. I wish they were still alive to have done work on Pistis Sophia, because I think that's one of the better Gnostic books to understand the ascension mechanics that Yeshua was trying to teach. I read it on this channel. Go find it. Anyhow, I'm ranting again. Sending each and every one of you love, light, shielding, and protection. Please, the weekend is upon us. Please have a safe and sound weekend. Please do some inner work. Know that things are going to be a little sloppy and wonky on the outside, but if we give ourselves and others compassion and grace, we will get through this together. Till the next one, guys. Have a great, wonderful night.